Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're digging into a story of revenge that was so shocking, so perfectly planned, that the people in power literally decided to just erase it from history. We're gonna jump right in. The year is 1848, spring, just outside Beaufort, South Carolina. And in just a few hours, an entire, powerful family line was brought to an end. This wasn't a mob. This was done with the cold, chilling precision of a surgeon.
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question. This wasn't just a violent act. It was a work of strategic genius. It completely stumped the authorities and shattered everything people at the time thought they knew about power, intellect, and control. To even begin to wrap our heads around how this happened, we've got to first understand just how unbelievably audacious this crime was and the world in which it took place.
I mean, think about that for a second. In a society that was built on tracking and controlling enslaved people, the man responsible, a man named Isaac, just evaporated. The only thing he left behind was a journal. Meanwhile, the official records, they were changed, rewritten to hide the entire thing. So, to really get the why behind this revenge, you have to first understand the who. You have to understand the world that these men controlled, and the absolute power of the Rutledge family.
Fairhaven Plantation wasn't just a farm, it was its own little kingdom. And Judge Cornelius Rutledge, well, he was its king. Publicly, he was respected if feared judge, but behind closed doors, he had this horrifying secret agenda. He was systematically, forcibly sterilizing enslaved women to control the population.
And his power didn't stop with him. No, it was multiplied by his 5 sons, each one like a different shade of his own cruelty. You had Cornelius Jr., the cold-hearted manager, Thomas, who actually helped with the medical procedures, William, the shark of a lawyer, and then the twins, James and Robert, who seemed to treat cruelty like a sport. They were, for all intents and purposes, completely untouchable.
So, with a dynasty like that, who could possibly stand against them? Well, let's meet the architect of this whole incredible plan.
Now, this is what made Isaac so unbelievably unique. He was 36, and he had this position of incredible trust. You see, while literacy was forbidden for others, Isaac could read and write, not just English, but Latin too. He could do complex math. He wasn't working in the fields, he was in the house, managing the books, which gave him access to every single one of the plantation's secrets.
Isaac's whole life was just a bundle of contradictions. He was rumored to be related to the very people who enslaved him. His mother taught him to read in secret. His intelligence made him indispensable to the judge, but that same position forced him to be the silent witness to these atrocities. And the worst part? His room. It was close enough that he could hear the screams from his master's procedures. Imagine having to live with that sound every day.
26. Let that number sink in. That's how many women Isaac personally documented Judge Rutledge sterilizing over 8 years. This wasn't just random cruelty, it was a systematic, horrific program.
So you can imagine, right? Having to witness all of this, to account for it, it fueled something in him. Isaac began to turn all that knowledge, the schedules, the finances, the family's habits, into a meticulous, long-term plan for revenge. And every plan needs an opportunity. For Isaac, it came during the Rutledge men's weekly tradition, a private Thursday night meeting where they drank heavily. On May 4th, Isaac was serving them dinner and he overheard them planning to expand the sterilization program. And that was it. That was the last straw. The plan he'd been carefully building for years, it was time to act.
And this wasn't some sloppy, heat-of-the-moment attack. No way. This was cold, calculated, and carried out in 3 perfect steps. First, the drug. Isaac had watched the judge for years. He knew exactly how much laudanum to use. Second, the timing. He waited 2 full hours to make absolutely sure they were all completely unconscious. And third, the poetic, horrifying justice of it all. He used the judge's very own surgical tools to end his bloodline forever.
The plan worked flawlessly. As the sun came up over Fairhaven Plantation, it lit up a scene of utter chaos, and a crime so profound that the first instinct wasn't to solve it, but to hide it.
So the morning after was just pandemonium. The men woke up in agony with no idea what had happened. When the cook finally broke down the door, even the local doctor was just baffled by the precision of it all. But by then, Isaac was long gone. The search parties, the bloodhounds, they found absolutely nothing. He had simply become a ghost.
You have to understand, admitting what really happened was just not an option. The idea that one enslaved man could intellectually and physically overpower 6 of the most powerful men in the district?
That would have shattered the entire ideology the South was built on. So, they created a lie. The official record says there was a house fire, burying the truth to maintain the illusion of control. So, where does that leave us? What is the lasting impact of this incredible, forgotten act of rebellion? What does it really tell us about justice?
70 years. That's how long this story was completely silenced. It became a secret that was kept to protect the social order, to deny the fact that an enslaved man had achieved such a stunning strategic victory over his oppressors.
And you see, what Isaac did went way beyond simple violence. It was a surgical strike against the Rutledge legacy itself. He didn't just hurt the men, he used their own horrific methods, their own tools, to make sure their bloodline, their name, and their power ended right there with them. It was a kind of justice the entire system was designed to deny him. That quote from the journal Isaac left behind really gets to the heart of it all. His story, pulled back from the brink of being forgotten forever, leaves us with a really provocative thought. When justice is denied by society, by the system, it doesn't just go away. It might just find other, far more shocking ways to be served.
Subscribe to the Hub of Crime Analysis.